Following question 6 is question 7 over at Logical Reasoning drill set number 5 from lawhub.lsac.org. We've got our highlight tool ready to go, and we read the question stem first, which states Yatisha and Aileen disagree with each other over which one of the following. So I'm going to highlight Yatisha and Aileen disagree over. And that's all I'm going to highlight. I need to find something that they must disagree about, which means that even though this has two speakers, this is going to be an inference task. We are not going to be focused on any conclusions from Yatisha or Aileen. We are focusing solely on the statements of fact that are presented and find something that they must disagree about. So we're going to highlight in multiple colors each of the speaker statements. So Yatisha says, every film may be classified as either a studio film or an independent film, and we'll just highlight that in one color as we go. Its classification depends on the source of its funding. We'll highlight that in a different color. If a film receives most of its funding from a major studio, then it is a studio film. We will just highlight in yellow this statement, and then we can go back to the orange, or we'll just leave that last statement unhighlighted because that too should be differentiated enough. Then Aileen states, what defines a studio film is content. We'll switch colors. Studio films emphasize story above all other aspects, including character development or cinematography. And then we've got the last statement, which says independent films do not. So we are talking about what the classifications are, and we should have a general idea of what the big point at issue is, which is what is the way in which you would classify a film as studio or independent. For Yatisha, it's about the source of funding. For Aileen, it's about content. Thank you for watching this question explanation video from LSAT drill number 5 over at lawhub.lsac.org. If you enjoyed the tips that it contained, please consider liking the video or subscribing to the channel to be notified when additional question explanation videos are produced by my guru. Also, check out the description below for links to additional resources from my guru, including links to full sets of video explanations for entire LSAT prep tests from LawHub. But for now, let's get back to this question explanation. Starting with choice A, every studio film is funded by one of the major studios. Well, actually, we don't talk about the ultimate funding in Aileen's statements. While that may seem like something that Yatisha only said, but Aileen didn't, it's not explicitly something that Aileen must believe is false, so we can eliminate A as being extreme based on the statements of Aileen. Then choice B, no film is classified as a studio film merely because it emphasizes story and character development equally. We don't need it to be exactly equally, so we can eliminate choice B for that reason. Then choice C, no studio film emphasizes character development over cinematography. If I'm just looking at cinematography and character development, well, that's discussing Aileen, but we don't have that distinction for Yatisha. So again, just similar to what we had with choice A, but in reverse, we don't know how Yatisha would believe about studio films emphasizing character development over cinematography, so that would be extreme. Then choice D, some films that emphasize character development over story are studio films. Again, they could certainly agree with this. There's nothing stopping these two things being true for both Yatisha and Aileen. And then choice E, the classification of a film as a studio film or a studio or independent depends solely on the source of its funding. Well, ding, ding, ding. That's exactly what we said at the outset as the main point at issue. And sometimes you just have to beware of talking yourself into the wrong answers. Use the highlight tool to identify reasons to eliminate as you go, and hopefully you'll be able to get to the correct answer of E relatively quickly here with number 7.